Okay, Masechta Horayos, daf, the first daf. It's a new Masechta. Masechta Horayos. Again, we're going to just tell you. Okay, and the two sides over here is Rashi, and I said it's a shayla, it's Rashi because the harichis, and on the bottom is the tesis. Anyway, we're going to start now with the first words. Haydu Bezdin. Bezdin made an erroneous psak. And the psak that they gave, Lamashal, they said on a Isa that you chayiv, on a Isser that you would be chayiv karis. Lamashal, they said you're allowed to eat dam, or they said you're allowed to eat chela, which is the Isser dika fats. Shuman is the mutter dika fats. And the Yochid went, and he went according to the psak. They said, I'm allowed to eat chela, I'm allowed to eat dam.
How do you do chela? Such a psak.
Not everybody's perfect. You know, they're saying, a guy said, I never made a mistake. I once thought I made a mistake, but I was wrong. Whether they did it together, the Aveda, meaning the Bezdin with the Yachid. Oh, that's by the Shabbos. But he says, whether the Bezdin ate the dam together with the Yachid, whether the Bezdin ate it first, the dam or the chaylev, and then this Yachid ate it, and Bezdin didn't eat the chaylev, but he ate it. Potter, he's Potter Mipnisha Talab Bezdin, because he was Taylor in the psak of the Bezdin. Bezdin said he's allowed to eat it, so he ate it. Then, another case, how do Bezdin? Bezdin makes mistakes. He can, you leave it up to Josh, okay. So you want to, hey, Bezdin, had you paskin, the Yodam Mehem, and one of the Dayanim knew Chateau, that the Dayanim made a mistake. One of them, the three Dayanim knew it. Even if he wasn't a Dayan, I'm going to see who that is. There were two Talmidei Chachamim, but they were young Talmidim. They didn't have Shimush. They were too young to get to be Rav, but they knew the halachas, and they knew he made a mistake. The halach, nevertheless, they followed whatever the Rabbanim said. Bein Shas v'Asa Imam, whether they did it together, meaning the Bezdin and the Yachid ate the dam, or Bein Shas v'Asa Achrei. Whether Bezdin did it first and he ate it after, or the Yachid ate it after. Bein Shlo Yas v'Asa. And whether Bezdin never even touched the dam or the chaylev, but he ate the dam, he wasn't Taylor Bezdin. You can ask me, but he knew it was a mistake. How did he do it? So it's not a mistake, he's amazed. So the Gemara says he was a shaggy. Why? Because he thought the halacha is, even if Bezdin makes a mistake, you have to listen. Now, if Bezdin, Bezdin zokt up now. Okay.
He listened.
And he listened. Zokt, what am I Shmuel? Shmuel said, "Lo'ilamein Bezdin chayavim, ad she'im lehem mutar mu'atem." The Bezdin is not going to be chayiv. The par helam, who's going to be chayiv for giving the erroneous psak, the wrong psak? Bezdin. What carbon they bring? A par helam dava. Okay. So only when will they be chayiv if they said beferish that somebody asked them? He says mutar mu'atem, or they wrote a tshuva. The psak is that it's mutter, right? It wasn't just a conversation, but they wrote, or they said in the Beis Medrash, it's mutter. No, that's not enough. It has to be ad. It comes to people are asking, we want to know what to do. Can we eat this chayla? Lassis. He says lassis. Oh, that's the psak. He says my time. The hayra, the psak is not finished till they paskin in actuality. And the guy is coming to say, could I do it or not? And he says, yeah, das heißt lasses. Das heißt the gemar psak. Omar Abai said, we also learned about in the Mishnah, like Rav Dimi, that it has to be lassos. They have to give a psak on the action. Okay. What happened? Chaza, the Chacham retracted after he heard the Hayra of Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin said, you're wrong. And he went back, this is Chacham, he hears the Sanhedrin saying what he paskin is wrong, hey, he goes back and he teaches the same like before. If I lost the Sanhedrin, I get weiter gewollt paskinen. Bezdin, Sanhedrin told me you're wrong. He's called a Zakah Mamre. So what did he do? He went, after he heard the Hayra of Bezdin, Shana believing kedera shelimud from before this and hadn't told him you're not allowed, and he goes right and he passes like that. Potter, he's still potter.
Why?
Because he's not a zaken mame yet. He's potter from din zaken mame. When is he a zaken mame? If people came with a maisa, la maisa, could we do this or not? Is hoyder lases? If the Sanhedrin told him you're wrong, and he still paskins like he had said before, then chayv. He's going to be chayv al the zaken mame.
So maybe is lasses.
Lasses. That's the emphasis. Omer Rabbi Abba, Afanana Mitanina. We also learned the Mishnah. It has to be the inyan of lasses like Rav Dimi. Where do we see that in the Mishnah? A Mishnah in Yevamis. It says, Bechlal Isha, Eidach testifies that her husband died. Really, you need to aid him. But Bezdin made a mistake, erroneous psak. They said, 1 aid is enough. Und sie can chasna haben. Why did they do it? Because he's only blind and can aguna. She shouldn't remain a laguna. So the Bezdin said, yeah, 1 aid is good. You can get married. To get married. What did she do? The whole killer. She went and she did znus. She didn't get married. So she's chayv a carbon. Chatus, because it's not. She didn't base it on the psak of Bezdin. The whole purpose that Bezdin gave her the psak, 1 aid is enough. She should be able to get married, not to go do hanky panky. That's for sure not. Ravina said, we also learned in our Mishnah. We see it has to be lasses, like Avdimi says. Where do we see that? It says, what are you saying, lava? It should have said, what's the meaning from lava? Lava means lamaisa. They pass in lamaisa that you can be over on what the Torah says you're not allowed to do. So you see, from our Mishnah, it has to be maisa. He says, and there's no more rayas. You don't need more rayas. It's Avdimi has good 3 rayas. Ikdami other say it's the reverse. It wasn't Avdimi who said lases, it was Shmuel who said lases. And Avdimi says, no, it doesn't have to be lases. Even if they gave a psak in shul, Azalchadinim is mutter, but it wasn't in actuality. That's called a Gemadin according to Avdimi. According to Avdimi. Now it's the reverse. Avdimi before said lases, according to this case, said no. And the kash, now we don't learn it as a raya to Avdimi. We're going to bring the same 3 mishnahs as a kash on Avdimi. Avdimi, how could you say just mutarim atem? It has to be lasses. Where do we see? Amabaya. Well, like Nan Hachi, we didn't learn like you Avdimi. Where do we see that? Chaza le'idoi. If the heard Sanhedrin and said, what you paskin is wrong, he goes back to the city. He goes and he teaches back like he was told the Chatchila, which was wrong. Zog Yamana Potter, he's still Potter from the Dino Zakamamre. Hoida Lassois. Only if he's passing Lassois, then he's Chayiv. Zakasha Avdimi, how could Avdimi say, just if a Hoida Mutarim Aterim is good enough? Anocha Kasha, Amar Rabbi Abba, we didn't learn like you, Avdimi, that Mutarim Aterim is enough. You have to do Lassois. Where do we see that? Hoida Lo Bezdin Lihinose. If you remember, with 1-8, the same story as before. Bezdin was made a erroneous psak and said 1 aid is enough to testify the husband died, so she should be able to go get married. It was wrong. You need 2 aid. But she went the kilkalan. She was mizana. Chayavs bekabin. She's chayav bekabin. Shalei yitiru lahel because the psak din was only to get married. Not so. You see, it has to be. It was a psak action, not because if it was. It has to be ma'isa because if it wasn't action, it says it should have said that Ahidul Abbas didn't finish. Not Li Nase. What's Li Nase? Nase tell you action. Amr Avina. Another kashval. Hachi in our Mishnah we didn't learn like you Avdimi because it says Ahidul Bezin Lavi. It shouldn't say Lavi. It should say Ahidul Bezin Al Hasmi Kol Mitzvah Batera. From the word, the extra word Lavi. Lavi means Lemaisa Apsak. So let me. There's no more kashas that we can ask on Avdimi. We asked good dry kashas. So you want to no teretz. So there has to be ma'isa, yeah. Okay. We learned in the Mishnah of Halacha Yachid. The Yachid went, and he made a mistake. I'll pay him according to what the Bezdin paskin. fact, he wanted to show you. But this we also help him learn. He went and he did like what the Bezin said, which means he did it wrong. Was the Shoigig Lama? What did he tell me? Shoigig? Yeah, what do you have to say it for? He went and he followed what the Bezdin told him. Of course he's a Shoigig. Amarava Shoigig, Lasuye, Hoyru Bezdin, Shechel Mutter. Bezdin, Paskin Taka Chelev is Mutter. But he wanted to be a better person, and he said, I'm not touching the Chelev. I still want Shuman. I'm going for the Shuman. But what happened? This Chalef lo Chelev is Shuman, and Bepemam she ate the Chelev.
Because it was mixed together.
It was mixed together. And he ate the Chelev by toes, but he didn't want to eat the Chelev. He wanted to eat the Shuman.
So that's what's a Shegig.
He's still potter. He's still, so Shegig comes to tell you, even though he didn't do it according to the Psak Din, the Shegig wasn't based on because Bezdin told you allowed to eat Chelev, because he wasn't going to eat Chelev anyway. He wanted to eat Shuman. It was a Shegig on his behalf, nothing to do with Bezdin. Nevertheless, we say he's potter. We're Taylor Bezdin. Al Piyam Mamish. And Al Piyam is the regular case that he followed whatever Bezdin said, Chelev, and he ate Chelev. You could have the other say, no, that's not how you learn the deal in Shegig. Other says, Shegig Al Piyam, who the potter? If he did exactly like Bezdin said, you're allowed to eat Chelev and he eats Chelev because Bezdin said, then he's potter. Because he was Taylor in the Psak Bezdin. But if he wasn't Taylor Bezdin, he wanted to eat Shuman. I was getroffen Shegig on its own. So he wasn't Taylor, but no, he was careful. It wasn't his problem. But the Shegig wasn't based on the Bezdin. The Shegig was, it got switched because he was never going to eat the Chelev based on the Psak of Bezdin. So therefore it's Chai Vachatas. The only time you would be potter if you based eating the Chelev on the Psak of Bezdin. Here he wasn't going to eat the Chelev. He wanted to eat the Shuman. So it's not it's his own Shegig, and that's why he's Chai Vachatas. So if you bought a milk the Pshita Le'Rava, come by Rabbi Machama. Whatever was Pasha to Rava, Rabbi Machama had a Shaila. What was the Shaila? The way Rabbi Machama, Hayru bebezdin Chelev Mutter, and Chalef loy b'Shumah Achalei Mal. If he didn't, the Shegig wasn't based on the Psak of Bezdin, like we're talking the whole time. He wanted to eat the Shumah. And so getroffen Shegig, and he ended up eating Chelev. So what's the din? Will he have a din of Toila PM and he'll be potter, or it's his own personal Shegig? Amarava said, Tashma, come in here, I'll answer you. Holach Yocht Velsal Shegig al PM. Shegig al PM, lovely. Why does the Mishnah have to say Shegig? Al PM. Yeah. So what does the extra word Shegig come to teach you? A new case. Hayru Bezdin Shechelev Mutter. And this Chalef loy Chelev Shuman, and the Chatich of Chelev got mixed up with the Shuman. And he ate it. Potter is going to be potter from Achatas. So that was the answer. He answered Rabbi Machama Shaila. In such a case, he's potter. So Rabbi Machama says, who says? Who says that's the deal? Dilma Shegig al Piyam hu the potter. Only if he mamish did a Shegig, he was a Shegig according to the Psak of Bezdin. But if he was a Shegig not because of the Psak of Bezdin, but it's a Shegig because the Chichas got mixed up, Chayiv. So Iked Amri, others say Amar Rav Tashma, come in here. There's a different gisa how he answered Rabbi Machama. Others say he answered Rabbi Machama like this: Halach Yachdasa Shegig PM, my love Shegig al PM who the pot Avnim Schalav Chelev B'Shumah B'Achalei Chayiv. He wanted to bring a raya that if the Shegig was not based on the Bezdin, but it was the Shegig of his own, that he'll be Chayiv. That's what he wanted to bring a diuk from the Mishnah. So yeah, he said to right, it's his own Shegig. So that's what he wanted to answer Rabbi Machama. Rabbi Machama says, who says the diuk goes that way? Dilma, oy Shegig, oy al PM. Maybe the diuk is to tell you why he said Shegig, to include that even if it's personal, his own personal Shegig, we're going to consider it's the same thing as al PM, and he's potter. So you want to... This machlik is...
Why are you saying it's not Shegig?
Because they passed in Chelev. He didn't eat the Chelev based on that psak. He ate the Chelev. He didn't want to eat the Chelev. He could have, but he wanted to eat the Shuman. The only reason why he came to eat the Chelev, not because of the psak of Bezdin, because the pieces got mixed up.
So it should be Chayiv.
That's one day. One day it says no. The shaygas come to tell you. Even such a case is potter. That's why the Mishnah says, because we can consider the Bepel Mamish. It's best in passing Chaylev is mutter, so we'll put everybody in that group. So you might be plucked. Maybe this machlekes of Rabbi Machama and Rava of Hoyru bebezdin shechaylev mutter and eschalav loy chaylev b'shumam ba'acholei is really a machlekes of Amarayim. Rav Omar, even in such a case, it's like Chaylev bebezdin is pater. Rabbi Yechon Omar chayev, and Rabbi Yechon says he's chayev. So it's an earlier machlekes. So the Gemara asked on Rabbi Yechon Meisvei. They asked on Rabbi Yechon who said that when the chatichas get mixed up, Rabbi Yechon Paskins, it's not a shegeg of Bezdin, it's his own shegeg and his chayv achatis. Meisvei, in fact, Gemara Ashayla on Rabbi Yechon from the Brayse. It says in the Torah, "Ve'im nev shachas sechata b'shgach me'am ha'aretz b'asreisa achas me'mitzvah Hashem asher lo yisrael tzaravi Hashem." So the word me'am ha'aretz is mashma me'teicha am. It means it's mashma a chelek from the am. Not everybody is going to be chayv. Prat lemuma. I mean, not everybody's going to be chayv a carbon. Who's not going to be chayv a carbon? A mumma. A mumma is somebody who's rebellious, goes against what the Torah says. He eats, and in the Rashi he brings down, a mumma doesn't have to be a rebellious against the whole Torah. He can be a mumma in ein aveda. He's a mumma when it comes to chaylev. He says, ich has chaylev. I don't care what the... So he's a mumma in one aveda. So if he was showing an aveda, so he doesn't bring a chatas. If somebody's a mumma and he's a shoygeg, he doesn't bring a chatas. So you don't need a special miyut to exclude mumma from being chayv chatas. Shehiuema, because by carbon chatas it says, it says that who is a mumma, a real mumma? A mumma is somebody who you notify and you tell him, you know you did an aveda. If he would find, I did an aveda, I have to do tshuva. Such a person, you allow him to bring a chatas for his shoygeg. Hashab yidiyasei, meaning a person would have been maineya, would have withheld himself from doing a aveda if he knew that this ma'aser is asa. Such a person may become mahal shikigase. But somebody yidiyasei, somebody who's not shav yidiyasei, if they tell him, this is asa, this chaylev you're not allowed to eat, and that gate from that second that's in chaylev, ain't maybe carbon shikigase. Such a person doesn't bring a carbon on his shegeg. That's why it says me'am ha'aretz. It means not all of the nation brings a carbon chatas. There are some people that don't bring a chatas. Who doesn't bring a chatas? Somebody who's a mummer, who is rebellious, and even if you tell him it's also, he's still going to eat. So even if he ate a b'shegeg, he doesn't bring a chatas. A chatas doesn't help. Like
What is he getting for the Marcus?
He does. There's no kapara for him because he's amazing. He's a mummer. In fact, you might have eaten Isa if you're saying somebody who would have found out about this Isa, it's usher, he would still eat it. Such a person doesn't bring a chatas. In fact, you might have our case. What's our case? The Bezdin paskin erroneously. They said that the chaylev is mutter. So even if you tell him chaylev is usher, he's not going to listen. He's going to say, but Bezdin said it's mutter. So how could you allow him to bring a carbon? He didn't retract. He won't retract from, even if you tell him it's asa. If Bezdin would notify, Bezdin would find out that they made the mistake and notify everybody that chaylev is asa. Who nami hadabei? He would have also been retracted. So shav yidiyasa karina beit. It's considered as shav yidiyasa, even though now he wouldn't listen. You tell him, you come over to him, what are you eating chaylev? It's also. But Bezdin said memeg. So he wouldn't listen anyway. But that's not called a mumah. That's not called.
Before it was kosher.
Because he thought it's kosher because Bezdin said.
I know.
But if Bezdin would say it's also, he would listen. So if he would listen, so he's considered as a shav mi yidiyasa.
already a bracha, it couldn't be enough.
Okay. Omer Rav Zakanayadin. Meida Rav she'ein mashma leiv hatzibur. That if Besdin passing chaylev his mutter, and half of the tzibur ate up the chaylev because of the psak Besdin, and this person, the second person, you have 50-50. 50% ate chaylev based on the psak of Besdin. 50% didn't eat. When do you bring a par?
Why didn't they eat? Because they felt Bezin was wrong.
Maybe, yeah. You only bring up, when does Bezin bring a par helen? Only if it's Reiv Tzibur. What's if half the Tzibur ate it on the Psak Din, and then there's one more to make it to a Reiv? But what makes him into a Reiv? What was his case? He didn't want to eat the Chaylev. He wanted our case. He wanted to eat the Shumim, but it was Nischalav, and he ended up eating the Chaylev. Could you add him to make it a Reiv or not? Sagt die Gemara, my timer, Amakar, it says in the Pasuk, L'chola Mishgaga, it says L'chola Mishgaga, everybody has to have the same shogeg. His shogeg is different than everybody else's. Everybody's shogeg was on the psak because Bezin said Chedor's mutter. His was because the two pieces got the private right, it got mixed up. A private shogeg, okay. Zog the Gemara, we looked in the Mishnah, Bein Sha also, the three cases. He did it with the Bezdin, meaning he ate the Chedor with the Bezdin, case number one. Case number two was Bezdin ate it first and then he ate it. That's the first one. The second one, they didn't eat it together. Bezdin ate it first and then he ate it. And the third case, Bezdin never ate it. Only he ate it. Okay, so in the Reisha, we said they're all pater because he ate up on the Psak of Bezdin. In the Sefer, they're all chayiv because he knew it was wrong. And nevertheless, he ate it. What do I need? Three cases, all three. So the Reisha, where you're talking about he's pater because he thought he did not the Psak of Bezdin. So all three cases is a chiddush. He says the first case I needed because the first case is the least chiddush. The first case is Bezdin ate it, so he ate it together with Bezdin. He says, I'm part of the klal, I'm allowed to, that's not a problem. But what's if Bezdin ate it, and then so I would have thought, he's now coming after Bezdin, maybe he's not allowed to eat it. So we're telling you he's still pater. And the last case is if you're in a bigger chiddush, Bezdin didn't eat it, and he ate it, he's still going to be pater. The Sefer, the Lechiyuva, but he's asking, but the Sefer, you're coming to tell you that he knew it was Aser, and he ate it. So where would be? No, Bezdin Paskin wrong. He knew it was wrong, and he still ate. He shouldn't have eaten. He shouldn't have eaten. So he says, but the Mishnah doesn't make sense because where would it be a bigger chiddush to say chayiv? You start off from the small chiddush. Small chiddush is only he ate, and right.
Bezdin first, and then he ate.
No, the last case. The last case would have been. The smallest chiddush, only he ate. For sure he's chayiv. He knew you're not allowed to eat it, and he saw Bezdin didn't eat it. Even a greater chiddush, even if Bezdin ate it and then he ate it, also is still going to be chayiv. And the bigger chiddush would have been even if he ate it together with Bezdin. He's sitting with Bezdin and eating. He's also going to be chayiv. That's how the Mishnah should have said it. But the Mishnah says the reverse. He says they ate it together. That's the biggest chiddush.
Why did if he ate it together with the Bezdin, so why is he chayiv?
So he's chayiv because he knows that that chaylev is aser. He knew. One of the dayanim knew clearly it's aser. No, 1 minute. You're going to that soon. 1 second. But the dayan, one of the dayanim knew it's aser and asked. So he's chayiv.
It was. The dayan is chayiv?
Yeah, the dayan who ate with the other dayanim, he shouldn't have eaten. So he's saying to say it eating with the other dayanim, that's the biggest chiddush. So what do I need the other two cases? Says you're right. He's saying you're right. I didn't need all the three cases. He's saying this case is going to be us as a chiddush if he ate it together with Bezdin, that he's going to be chayiv. How much more so if Bezdin ate it and he didn't eat it yet, and then afterwards he eats it for sure. And how much more so if he's the only one eating it. For sure, he's going to be chayiv. But you're right, we didn't need all three cases. He's just learning Zuva of
Like
Zukatan.
the letters was gave.
Yeah. And he learned this one, and for sure this one, and even more so for sure this one. Okay, so the Gemara goes back to the second part of the Mishnah. Yodech mem sheto oy talmid v'roy lahira. Who knew that the Bezdin made a mistake? Either one of the Dayanim or one of the Talmidim that was sitting there knew it was a mistake. In fact, you want to talk to Lamanish. What do I need both cases? Say a case of a Dayan and say the case of a Talmud. Amarali Yitzchak, I need both cases. How could that Chamina? I would have thought to say, Hani Mili, when is he going to be Chayiv if it's Gomer v'Sofir? Gomer v'Sofir means the Dayan can learn, he has a good idea. Unishnados Sofir, he knows how to learn a din from Nachadin, as Maven Dova Mitrich Dova. Yeah, can name it the finger. Maven Dova Mitrich Dova. Well, somebody has only one of them. Let's Gomer. Tagaisi idea of a lay Sofir. As Eine Maven Dova Mitrich Dova, he does not infer a psak din. Loi, I would say he's not Chayv Achatas. So that's why he come to tell us that even if he has only one of the milas, he's still going to be a Chayv Achatas. Amalei Abaya says, how could you say that our mission is talking about by the Talmud that he only had one of the milas? It says Roya Lahira. It says that he's Roya Lahira. Gomer v'Sovim mashma means he has Yediyah and he's Maven Dav Mitech Dava. Amalei, so Rabbi said to Abaya, I know how he come in. This is how I learned the diuk, that even if it's one of the milas. He says, if from the dain itself, how about I would have said, Hani Milig, Gomer v'Sovim. He has to have both milas, Yediyah and Maven Dav Mitech Dava. Aval Gomer v'Loi Savir, but if he only had one mila, Loi. If he only had Yediyah, but Kenish Aris Len Adin from the Yediyahs was hard, he won't be a Chayv Achatas. Tana, that's why the Mishnah chapped on the case, the second case, Ro'ui Lahira. Why are you saying Ro'ui Lahira? It's the same as the first case. To tell us it's the same as the case of the Dayan. So what are you saying Ro'ui Lahira? Mishnah Yisera from these extra words Ro'ui Lahira is to tell us Afilu Gomi V'Loi Savi. Even if he has only one mile, he has Yediyas. But he's not able to learn from the Yediyas HaHalacha or the Savi. He's able to learn from his Yediyas HaHalacha. Like Gomer, he doesn't have the Yediyas. Nevertheless, he's going to be Chayiv if he knows that this Chayiv is Asa. Zok the Mishnah, Zok the Gemara, we learned the Mishnah, Ro'ui Lahira. Who are Talmidim that are fit to be Hayra? What does that mean? Give me an example. Amarava, Kigoin Shim ben Azai, Shim ben Zoyma. These were two geniuses who had Yediyas, and they were Maven Dav Mitrich Dava. The only reason why they didn't become Dayanim because they were too young. So Gemara, Amalei Abaya, Kahai Gavna.
How are they supposed to be Dayanim?
It doesn't say. It says they were too young. 9. Rashi says, Lamrot Chachmasam Lamafleges Loy Nismachu. They didn't be eating. They were too young, but Zikna. They didn't come into the age of Zikna. So if it was Shimon ben Azai and Shimon ben Zema who knew that Chaylev is Asa and they ate the Chaylev anyway, so they're amazed. How amazed cannot bring a carbon? How can you say the Chayva carbon? They should be Pata. Amazed is Pata from the carbon. According to your Shita, that you say a Chacham who's amazed, it's the Tanya, this that we learned in the Brais, it says in the Pasuk by Chiyuv Chadim Chatas. It says, V'mnafesh achas sechto b'shgog. That's the beginning of the Pasuk. Ba'asoisa achas. And then the Pasuk goes, Mitzvah Hashem, by doing one of the mitzvahs that the Eibishter said not to do. So we learn out, Yachid ha'isa mipi atzmai, a Yachid that does an Aveda on his own felicity, not from the Psak of Bezdin. Chayiv, he's going to be Chayiv Karban Chatas. Abba Behiraz Bezdin, Potter. But if he does it according to the Psak of Bezdin, he's Potter. Case that for your mother, what's the case? Hayru Bezdin, Shechela Mutter. Bezdin, Paskin, that Chelev, the Chelev is Mutter. And one of the Dayanim realized that the other two Dayanim made a mistake. Or the Talmud like Shimon ben Zoma, or Shimon ben Azai were sitting there and knew
They were too young.
they were too young. Shimon ben Azai, and they knew that's a mistake. They knew the halacha. Yachol Yehi Potter. I would have thought they should be Potter from a carbon because they did according to the psak of Bezdin. Talmud Leina Ba'asesa Achas that Yachid Ha'is Al Pi Atzmai. Here it's like a Yachid who did Al Pi Atzmai because he knew it's wrong. He didn't do Al Pi Bezdin because he knew Bezdin is wrong, and he nevertheless he ate the chaylev. He's only one who does kaidas Bezdin is Potter. But I want to say Ha'is Al Pi Atzmai. Here the Shimon ben Azai and Shimon ben Zema are considered as Ha'is Mi Pi Atzmai, and therefore they're chayiv. Only if he does Bezdin, he's going to be Potter. So, but L'cheira is the kasha. If why should Shimon ben Azai be chayiv? Why should they bring a carbon? They're amazed. The mamish amazed. They knew it was wrong. How do you find that they should be able to bring a carbon? I mean, the Gemara can go in the Yoda. They knew the Aser. They knew that Bezdin was matter. The Chalev is really Aser. What was the mistake? The mistake was the mitzvah. They thought it's a mitzvah. Whatever they say, even if they say something wrong.
More than they say.
More than that, even though they know it's wrong. So the Nami, if so, according to my shita, even a Talmud will bring a carbon, and they're going to be considered as shayigim because they're told they made a mistake in which mitzvah. The mitzvah l'shmei devir chacham. In the mitzvahs, without having to the vet of the chacham. Even though it's not so. I remember which Talmud Chacham it was that it was Yom Kippur. They argued which day is Yom Kippur, and he was Gamil forced Rabbi Lezer to come to him, even on the day that Rabbi Lezer felt that it was Yom Kippur that day. He came, but Rabbi Gamil, the Nasi said he should come. He had to come and be Mechal Yom Kippur according to his day. Okay, but that's not a mistake. Each one had a cheshbon. Here we're talking about mamash a mistake. So here they made a mistake. If they knew clearly that the Chacham made a mistake, they weren't allowed to eat the chaylev. Zahaklal. This is the rule. Somebody who's Taylor psak din in himself and he does an avir on his own, then he's chayiv. But if he's Taylor bebezdin, he's potter. What is this cloud coming to include? So the Gemara Lasuye, he's coming to include that a person who's mavayit b'heira, he doesn't listen to Bezdin. Bezdin says A, he does B. He doesn't care what Bezdin says. As a leina chacham. I took out ipchem establo. So one time Bezdin made a erroneous psak and he said chaylev is mutter. Oh, it's like he gets me the chatzadik. Oh, Bezdin. Taylor Bezdin. I made a mistake. It was Bezdin. Taylor Bezdin. So he wants to say he's Taylor Bezdin and he's a potter. So if he did like the Heiraz Bezdin, he's still considered as a Taylor Be'atzmai. We don't care. Avenish can Sadik over here. Zag Yemara Taylor Bezdin Lasuya. What is the words Taylor Bezdin coming to teach you? Heida Bezdin. Bezdin Paskin that Chaylev is mutter. And then Yoda Sheto. Then Bezdin Tzrichak. Oi, we made a mistake. And they retracted. And they retracted. But this guy is still eating Chaylev. And he didn't hear the Bezdin's retraction. So he's still potter. Because he's still eating the Chaylev based on the psak that Bezdin gave before. In fact, you want to help us? How do you Ketani We learned this befedish in the following Mishnah. Why do we need our Mishnah to teach us? So if you want to tell me how to mefarish, the first Mishnah learned it in a general term. This Mishnah is coming to say all the details. That's why you learned it again. So in our Mishnah we started off saying a yachid, even a yachid, who follows the psak of a bezdin, the erroneous psak of a bezdin that chaylev is mutter, he doesn't have to bring a korban chatas. Even though it's not a reiv tzibur that followed it. It's only a yachid that did it on the psak. That's only according to Shittas Rabbi Yehuda that he'll be potter. And But the Chacham is saying no.
If it doesn't pass,
It has to be a Roiv Tzibur that followed the Psak in order for them to be potter from eating Chaylev. But if it's only a Yachid that followed the Psak, he has to bring his own Chatas. Because then there's no par. Only when does he bring a par Helam, the Chacham is saying? When it's Roiv Tzibur. When does Bezdin have to bring their carbon to be Mechaper on those that did Aveda? If it's a Roiv Tzibur that followed them. But if it's not a Roiv Tzibur, there's no par Helam. So if there's no par Helam, it's something the Chachamim. So the Yachid has to bring his own carbon. Rabbi Yehuda says no. He went according to the Psak. He's potter. So my Rabbi Yehuda. What's the pshat? Where do we see Rabbi Yehuda? The Tanya Rabbi learned in the Braisa. It says with nefesh achat nefesh soisa. So now you have harei l'shloishim miyutim. You have three exclusions: nefesh, achas, and ba'asoisa. So what does he say? What do we learn out? Ba'asoisa ha'oisim mipi atzmai chayiv. If he did it only on his own, meaning not totally in the bezdin. He did it on his own. He made the shaking himself, not based on the psak of the bezdin. Then he's chayiv. But he does bezdin potter. That's how he learns the diuk. Rabbi Yehuda from the pasuk. Ba'asoisa means he did it himself. But if he did it based on the psak of bezdin, then he's potter. In fact, you want to buy Rabbanim. Why the Rabbanim say if a yachid does it, he's going to be chayiv his own chatas, only if it's a Reiv Tzibah. Says the Tanya that we learned in the Braisa. Adayin ani yema miyut hakol shechatul chayam. If it's only a minority of people, then they're chayiv their own karm chatas. Shem bezdin mevim al yedeyhem par. Bezdin is not mechuyev yet to bring a par to be mechaper on the miyut tzibur. Reiv hakol sheyichatu yeh ptur milavi chatas. Why? So you bezdin mevim al yedeyhem par. Because Bezdin brought a kapara, if it's like tzibur, the par helam dava. Talmud loyim me'amaretz, but from the words me'amaretz, it comes to tell you afilu imruba, va'afilu kula, even if it's the revakol, or all of them sinned, but they sinned on their own, not based on the psak of Bezdin, they're going to have to bring their own chatas. In fact, you want to remind, what is that case talking about me'amaretz? Ilema b'shigas ma'isa Bezdin, that. So they did it on their own. The Reiv Tzibur. In fact, you want to Bezdin, my Avi to tell you. What did the Bezdin do here? They did nothing. What are you mixing in Bezdin? Bezdin, me, Maisu. Does Bezdin have to bring a par helam? No. So if they're not bringing a par helam, of course they're going to be chayiv the Tzibur. It wasn't the Bedaira of Bezdin. So why would you think if a Reiv call made a Aveda on their own, not based on the Psak of Bezdin, that they should be potter if Bezdin would never bring up par Ella. Ella, we're talking about Behira, that the Bezdin did give up psak. This that says Mei Am Haaretz, which is the marker that Reiv Tzibur are chayiv achatas b'shigas ma'asav d'chsiv. It's talking about that they did a aveda not based on the psak of Bezdin. That's where they would have to bring their own carbon chatas. So after we pushed off both Avshariyas, so from where do they learn out that if a Reiv Tzibur, if a Yachid does Al-Pi does Bezdin, he's going to be Chayav. They learn out like this. It says Miyut Hakol Shechatu V'Shigas Ma'isa. If it's only a minority that did an Aveda, Chayam, each one has to bring a Karm Chatas. Shein Bezdin Mevin Al Yedayim Par. But because Bezdin doesn't bring a par helam dava if it's only a miyat tzibur. Hey na'atzmam. But what if the miyat hakol did it on their own? Chayav dechayv achakas. Yachol reiv atzim shas v'shigas ma'isa yibturim. I would have thought if the reiv did do the on their own aveda, they should be potter just like if they would have done the heiras Bezdin, they would have been potter. Shay Bezdin mevim aleim par. Because by Hira they would be potter. So I would say if there's a Reiv Tzibur that did it on their own, they should also be potter. That's what the pasuk of Ma'amaretz comes to tell you. Afilu Rubei, even if there was a majority but it wasn't Behiras Bezdin, they all have to bring their own carbon chatas. We'll have to stop it.